with all my things and everything important. Definitely don't have the right interface on here for the observing as well, because apparently that resets on StarCraft 2. Oh boy. Yeah. So I gave myself like a decent amount of time to set all this up afterwards, but then I had to fight with my PC for like an hour just to get access to my PC and all the files and everything. So that was no fun. Bombers spawning in the top left-hand side of the map here. I think Demon is a fair statement for this guy in this tournament. Oh boy. Oh, Bomber. Yeah, it's spotted. Now, the thing about the Turax, though, is that it's like a true coin flip. Like, sometimes Zergs will just die to it even when they scout it. Because that's... It is. You're right about that. Like... Can he, though? Yeah, looks like he can. Oh, maybe not. No. I feel like Bomber should have just tried to let that finish, eh? Alright. No. It is much worse than just half as bad. Oh no. Why? Okay. Yeah. Alright. Bomber in a bit of a rough spot already. Solar has just got to be like a relay. You can't even proxy a little bit north. Like, or just like even go to, like, Terrans used to try and hide it. Now they're just like, whatever. All right. Yes. Yeah, Bomber is one of the best StarCraft, or was back in the day, one of the best StarCraft 2 players to watch without a doubt. He was just the Terrans when, I'd argue even Terran was at like its best state, just because it was just like the classic bio games pretty much every game, and Bomber was one of the masters of that. Well, yeah, well, speaking of third, Bomber. Okay, we're live again, or should be anyway. Nope, it's not uploading from the SEMA things. No, maybe so. We'll see. Anyway, so the game has been going on while we've been having some technical issues. We're not going to make the players pause or anything like that. Bomber has been making a game out of this. Hopefully OBS isn't going to crash anymore or anything like that. Fingers crossed indeed. Bomber is kind of just getting rolled here. It looks like he almost made a game out of it. He got up to 4 bases, but then the Zerg did the classic get Ultralisk thing. The Terran wasn't prepared. And GG. So, I do apologize about that immensely. Having some tech issues. Alright, here we are though. It is a best of 5. And we have got ourselves in the top left-hand side of the map. He is the frequent flyer of Afrika World. It's Triumphant Songs Gaming Solar, the Korean Zerg. Yeah. No, it doesn't. It does not. Okay.
Oh, am I muted?
Apparently so.
It's exciting.
Yeah, alright. Well, you're unmuted now. I apologize about that.
Hooray!
Apparently, upon the reboot, Windows decided, like, you know what? Different audio source. Let's do it.
Huzzah! Alright, well, for those of you who missed it, I just went on a big rant about how you need to harass as Terran versus Zerg, which I'm sure all of you know, but I was just so shocked that Bomber didn't even try anything in game number 1, with the exception of the proxy, and then once that got shut down, he was done. So, I'd like to see him go for Hellions, I'd like to see him go for Liberators, or Banshees, or something. Because if you don't, you're gonna die.
I honestly agreed with what Bomber did, though. I mean, I know that a lot of the viewers didn't necessarily see the game, but Bomber, as you said, just macroed up, didn't really harass or anything. But I honestly agree with that. And the reason for that is that, like, a Zerg player like Solar, pretty darn good at defending harassment in most cases and everything.
True.
And so it can almost seem like harassment's a waste. The thing is, though, a Zerg player like Solar, when they've got a lead after something like a failed proxy, like, you're gonna pretty much guaranteed to get no damage done, I think. So the fact that Solar didn't really commit to that, like, I'm honestly fine with it.
Right, but it's not necessarily about getting damage done. It's about forcing Solar to make something other than drones.
Yeah, which in a sense is damage.
At all.
But
Yeah,
I think the only way Bomber was going to win that game was maxing out and reaching 200, which he did, and he still lost.
right.
But, like, I think all the harassment in the world, you're not going to slow down Solar enough. Like, it literally just comes down to the one big army fight, I think. And
All right.
it's all about you getting to that stage when you're behind as the Terran after a failed proxy, I think. That far behind, anyway, like he was.
Yeah, and that is the one thing that I can generally agree with is after that proxy failed, he was so far behind. I don't know what he could have done, but I would have liked to see him try, that's all.
Bomber? Did he get that creep tumor or no?
Hey, got that one.
He's got, the Reaper's got 2 kills. One of them's a lane, one of them's a creep tumor. Okay.
And in the current patch, you cannot cancel those tumors.
You
so
cannot.
that goes down, you have to replant a whole new one with a new queen.
Which I take it, I'm not a Zerg, but I take it that's a pretty big pain, eh?
I mean, I don't know. I've been watching games in the new patch fairly frequently, and it just doesn't seem like a big deal. It seems like Zergs are really capable of getting their creeps spread out just as far as they were previously.
Okay, now you know what is a big deal? Roaches. Oh no, Bomber is just completely not seeing this at all.
No, he got a good scout into the main, but there's nothing to see there.
He saw a drone pop out. He's like,
Yeah.
it's all good. Oh, he threw up a 3rd CC. Oh,
Yeah,
now he sees it.
All right. Well, it's the traditional 2.5 base Roach Ravager timing.
Yeah, this is
It
a really
really-
good build for Zerg.
It's
It just
super good.
kills Terrans. It just slaughters them. I mean, Bomber has the Liberator, which forces the Ravagers before the Zerg can push further up.
Well, sure, but there are going to be Ravagers here anyway. There's no way this is a pure Roach attack.
Yeah, bottom like an extra 10 seconds or so. The Liberator gonna re-siege up. Solar's just gonna try and push right on through that. Doesn't
Yeah.
actually, or he's got one of the Ravagers, so there's actually nothing else to take care of this. So if he can clean up these roaches, he'll actually be fine.
He's working on it here. Liberator's
right.
setting up into a pretty darn good position. SCV's kind of boxing them into a corner, allowing their mobility to get absolutely shut down here. 7 SCVs down, but this was not an all-in from Solar. He's droning up behind it. It was harassment. He was not planning on trying to kill Bomber there, and he didn't.
No, yeah. I mean, that was quite alright for Bomber, right? Considering the fact that he didn't scout it or anything like that.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse. Definitely. Liberator was huge. If the Liberator didn't exist, that would have been a lot more damaging for Bomber. But nice job getting the Liberator out, getting some harassment planned here. There's a Spore in a nice position to deal with this. There are 2 queens in the main, 3 queens in the main base too. Liberator sees this and says, "All right, well, I tried."
Oh, nope, nope.
I mean, you really don't want to set up in here at all.
No, you
he
do
sees
not.
the 3 queens. He knows.
Okay, now we take a look here. This is the thing that I'm excited for. Bomber's getting up to 3 CC, and he's heading towards Bioplay, which is always a treat.
Yeah, for sure. Bio is a lot of fun to watch. I mean, Mech can be really strong, but Bio just has the mobility and the firepower, especially if controlled well, to do tons and tons of damage. So I'm excited to see what's going on here with Bomber. Again, that was his thing, was Bio back when he was the guy, and he was the man in StarCraft 2.
Oh yeah, he was. We take a look here. Marine, or fake Marine. Pops on out. Solar gets the scout, sees that it's Bio he's up against. Good scout, seeing as how in game number 1, Bomber did go for the mech follow-up. Or he kind of went mech. He didn't actually end up going mech, but he kind of started out mechy, didn't he?
He did. But Centrifugal Hook's on the way, Glial Reconstitution. I mean, Solar's not doing much different from what he did in the last game. It was a lot of this into Ultralisk.
Bomber gonna stim on in with his bio units, gonna see that is a lot of Zerg and get on out of there. That Liberator still just hanging out. Probably gonna... Nope, he unsieges it. Nicely done from Bomber. Couple of Banelings pop out, getting Bomber, having those units get surrounded though.
Yep, and it's all about those pickups. You can pick up fast, avoid losing those Marines. It kind of starts to snowball into a bunch more Marines, a bunch of different drops everywhere. Zerg's getting pulled in 8 directions at once.
Yeah, that's what the Terran likes to see. Those Medivac's gonna boost on out of there. Unloading. Bomber just being active out on the map. And one thing that I'd like to point out this game is that the upgrades for Bomber, he's got himself a 1-1 lead.
Game paused.
Alright, we got a pause play from Solar.
Yeah, gotta love an upgrade advantage, especially against Zerg. Oh, that was fast. Okay.
Well, that was the quickest pause in the world.
Yeah. Not sure there has been a shorter in-game pause in a StarCraft tournament ever.
Bomber didn't even say anything. I guess he was the one who unpaused.
He's fine. He's ready. Infestation Pit on the way from Solar. But yeah, like you said, upgrades looking good. 2-2 getting started from Bomber. This is going to equate to about a 3-3 around 11 or 12 minutes, which is just fantastic timing and always has been. 3-3 is such a big deal for Marines and Marauders. They just absolutely tear through anything that they hit. Banelings can deal with them. A lot of Zerglings can deal with them. Is that a 4th?
It is a 4th. Bomber is a macro Terran. He's an OG macro Terran.
He is. Get that 3rd base up and feels comfortable, as he does. He's got the 3rd base up. It's time for a 4th. Why not?
Yeah. See, back in the day when Bomber was really at his peak, it wasn't like as scary for Terran to go into the late game versus Zerg, I feel. So he's like, this is just what you do.
Right. It definitely was not as scary.
No, because Zerg would just have, what, the garbage Ultras they had in the past? And Broodlords, I guess? But even those, I think, were a little bit worse.
Yeah, this is a big attack here from Solar. Well, the problem was the Infestor was ground. The last time Bomber was active, Infestors were not good.
No.
And
Infestors
as a result,
were not good. Vipers were not good. They didn't have Parasitic Bomb.
Right.
So you couldn't just turtle on Broodlords because you won the air battle by default.
Yeah, Infestor's really the key for Zerg late game. If they're good,
alright, here we go.
If they're bad,
this seems like a pretty committed attack. I mean, Solar a little bit disjointed there, I think.
I mean, he went for a double-pronged attack, just trying to get a surround on both sides, which I really appreciate, but
Bomber's
did not get in
positioning
there
has
as
been
much
really
as he
good
wanted.
this game, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. You're going to want the tanks in good positions, protect them for everything you have. And then, yeah, 3-3 getting started at 10 minutes here from Bomber. So his timings are crisp.
Yeah.
Solar's trying to sneak an Ultralisk Cavern out here. I'm not sure that he's going to have time to do that.
No, Bomber getting attacked
Half
here.
of the army comes on in. And the tanks are going down, but reinforcing Marines
That's
are
a lot
showing
of
up here.
reinforcements.
That's not bad. One tank survives, and Bomber is still on the front door of the Zerg player, and the Ultralisk Cavern is not done.
No, it's not. The only thing is that Bomber right now, he pretty much just has mass Marine. That's it. That's what he's got to his name. He's got a couple of tanks coming in tow, but there's not a lot of Banelings yet. As these Banes finish up, though, these Marines can be vulnerable, but no, there's not enough done for Solar. Did Bomber just macro his way into a victory here? This push is looking lethal.
It is. You don't want the Terran player sitting on your front door like this for any longer than you have to deal with them, although the tank is done. Reinforcing groups not really showing up quite yet. Bomber took some time to establish his fourth and give Solar some breathing room. So 36 Lings in production, an Ultralisk on the way, Kindness Plating on the way too. That's not a very long upgrade, but it will be here sooner rather than later. 3-3 from Bomber. Not quite done yet. About a minute left to go on that one. He'd love to have it now, but you gotta wait.
Yeah, Bomber can have a revitalized push. He's got an upgrade lead for now, and he's going to have that continued on until he gets his 3-3. So the window is here for Bomber just to go for this attack. He charges in with his Marines, getting the tanks, Liberators set on up, and his army is just looking pretty good. The upgrade lead is just very, very important right now.
Yeah, that 2-2 versus the 1-1 is fantastic. The Mules getting tossed down in the fourth base is fantastic for income here too. If we're going for a lot of Marines here, it's going to be fine until the Ultralisk count gets to a scary point, right? Marines are fantastic until Ultras show up, until Broodlords show up. So
Solar looking for a counterattack. He sees the fourth base wasn't a planetary. Bomber being a little greedy is now getting punished for it. And a counterattack like this can take all the wind out of a Terran sails. Bomber, though, still trying to push forward right now. Ultras have popped out, not in a huge quantity, though, so Bomber may still be able to take a favorable fight as this game goes on, though. I mean, it is feeling like he's going to be pressured to make something happen sooner rather than later.
He is. I like the Liberator count here versus the Ultralisk. That's always nice.
Oh, those Marines running back.
Yeah, that Ultra is extremely scary. He's got his Kindness Plating. 3-3 finishing up for Bomber now.
Ugh. Those are a lot of red medivacs there. I think they must have eaten a corrosive bile or something.
I think they took a parasitic bomb from the one Viper that's on the field right now.
Oh, there is one Viper, huh? Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, that base goes down. Solar, though, he's got backups, though. I mean, with the base to the right, he's got his third still, and then he's securing this other base to the left. Bomber's trying to bait the Zerg into a bad fight and doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, losing that Ultra was massive. The Ultra count is not nearly high enough to where Bomber is terrified of them yet. They're still very scary, but not. You need to change your whole strategy. So he's still working on Marauders. He's still working on Marines, getting concussive shell here, which actually doesn't work against Ultras, but will be good against the Banelings and, you know, Zerglings and whatnot.
Yeah, it's so cheap. You just get it as Terran regardless. Tanks and Liberators now moving on in. Bombers.
The army is not in position. Solar is not anywhere near close to stop this.
Yeah, he just can't. There's so many Liberators, and there's really no anti-air for the Zerg even. There's the one Viper, but there's 7 Liberators. Only 5 Ravagers as well to counter that. So yeah, Bomber with his Liberators and tanks can just push this Zerg around. This is why Solar is looking for a counterattack. These Liberators are going to get set on up. The Lings will overwhelm this fourth base, though. Reinforcements coming on in to clean this out. Bomber takes damage, though, so he's still going to be pressured, looking for a fight. A lot of tanks get knocked out there by that blinding cloud. Bomber still looking to push forward, though. He's knocked out this base. He's knocked out the fourth, and now he's looking just for another expansion that Solar's trying to claim. Bomber is keeping the pressure on.
Ooh, forces to cancel while he expands to the bottom left himself.
Oh wow, so that's already done there.
Yeah, he floated it over. It was safe. It was ready to go. It should be a planetary. Please make it a planetary. I love you forever. He's making 2 more command centers at a time, though. Don't worry about him.
Oh, man. Bomber's confident in this game. Siege tanks are getting surrounded by the Lings. That is a very nice pickoff for Solar. Liberators, though, still going to help out in this fight. They're rather clumped up versus the Corrosive Bile, though. That takes out a fair few of them. Supplies still eerily close. Bomber's got to be careful. He can definitely throw this away. Medivac's going to boost off as Bomber is forced to retreat.
The good news for Bomber is he wasn't able to take down another base, but he is expanding and macroing like a madhouse right now. He's got a planetary fortress coming up. in that bottom left. He has more command centers being built here for additional support against these ultras. Can really mess with an ultra's pathing if you have a wall of command centers. Even if they're not planetaries, it can be really good in that situation.
Yeah.
So working on +3 ground armor here for his melee units is Solar. Really good for the Lings, Banelings, and Ultras. Going to make the Ultras even harder to take down, but the Liberators and the Marauders are up to the task.
Yeah, the Liberators and Marauders, just a really good counter here. I mean, look at it. There is currently 19 Marauders out. Ultras are good, but not versus that many Marauders.
Yeah, that's the thing. Marauders, they changed to do 1 big attack instead of 2 50% attacks, and that is a huge thing against Ultras. Big attacks good, small attacks bad.
Yeah, they had that tweak reverted. Now we see Bomber with his mass bio. It's really just too much for the Zerg to handle, it would seem. Solar looking for a big surround, though. The Medivacs, are they going to get parasitic bombed? Yes, they are. Oh my gosh, the sick play from Solar knocks out a ton of Bomber's supply and the base. Oh my gosh, that turned sour for the Terran real quick.
Zerg players, if you're struggling with Terran and Protoss, go for those 360 surrounds. Go for flank attacks on the backside, because it can lead to situations like this, where you're
play like Solar.
And
okay, let's take a look here.
yeah, it's looking like Solar has this attack handled. At least if Bomber wants to come up that ramp, he's going to have to think about it. Never mind. He didn't think about it. He came right on up.
Yeah, Bomber just trading out at this point. He's got so many Medivacs to heal his bio. He's pulling back, he's splitting. He knows his economy is far superior to the Zerg, so he's taking sort of not the best trades, but he's just got way more bio coming behind this. And I think Bomber is looking to maybe take this map here as he's picking off the critical Ravagers for Solar. He's just trading out pretty darn well, and there's too much Terran here.
I mean, Bomber is eating Corrosive Biles, which is never good. But yeah, he's got it. He felt confident. He got it done. Bomber ties up the series after he was really passive in game 1 and kind of got ruffle stomped after that scout. He looks
GG.
fantastic here.
GG indeed. And
wow.
Yeah, what a game. Wow. Wow indeed. Okay, so we're still having these crashes, which is just not a good time.
No.
No, I really do apologize for this, everyone. It's kind of random.
So it is Ephemeron for the next map. Yeah, Chicken, sorry for the streaming problems today. Again, Laughing Game came in contact with an ancient curse that is ruining his PC's ability to do this very well this evening. Usually it's a lot better than this, a lot more consistent. So hopefully things clear up a little bit here. We did get most of that game without having any trouble, so hopefully that is a good sign for the future.
Hopefully indeed, yeah. It's like, I tried to fix like some stutters that my PC would have. And then now it's like, you know what? Would be great if those stutters turned into solid crashes.
Yeah.
And that is not great.
That is a downgrade, I believe.
Okay. So, we will try getting into the next game here. Solar is going to host that for us. And, yes. We will see what is causing all the issues here.
Yeah, I can't really say enough about Bomber in that game, too. For somebody, Solar in the past has honestly swept entire Africa Worlds, just not dropped a single map against some really good competition. So the fact that Bomber took a game off him here and tied the series up in the first round, I am impressed by. And it really makes me expect more from Bomber from this point on. I need to see him have a really good 2020 now, based on performance in that one game alone, which might be unfair of me. But I think he still got it in him. That was a pretty darn convincing win against a really scary Solar.
Yeah, I think, like, Bomber is just, he's just one of those players that's naturally so good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're looking at a tied-up game here.
But, I mean, so many players have been just dominant and then gone away for military and come back and just been like, right? So, I don't know. I would like to see Bomber be awesome.
I
Back into it.
wholeheartedly agree. Here we are in the bottom left-hand side of the map. It is Solar.
And in the bottom right, he's red, he's Bomber.
Okay, so do you think we're going to see a pretty similar game to that on this one, or something a little bit different here?
I mean, if it works, why go away from it if you're Bomber? Solar did the same thing. He did the same thing he did in game number 1. The problem was Bomber was not behind like he was in game 1, and so game 2 went much differently. It was really just Lings, Banelings, Ravagers, Roaches trying to save time until they get Ultras out.
We are live again for the 10th time today.
Feels like it. Okay, so we're up 2-1. Gotta remember where we are with this.
Yes, Solar currently has the 2-1 lead. I reinstalled OBS because apparently the old version of OBS has some serious issues that they need to solve. So, here we are in the top left-hand side of the map for Triumphs of Song Gaming. It's Solar.
And in the bottom right, it's Bomber.
Yeah, Bomber kind of just fell to like the classic Terran blunder. Zerg counterattacks. You don't pay attention to your army, and then you eat a lot of the swarm that game.
Yeah, those Baneling hits were crushing. Obviously, they were crushing because Bomber tapped out instantly. Yeah, I mean, the problem with those Marauder Hellbat attacks is they're really good as long as the Zerg player doesn't know they're coming and doesn't have time to prepare for them, and Solar did. And so once that happened, Bomber's pretty much in a horrible spot. I mean, I know he needed income there. I know he wanted an orbital, but Planetary Fortress third base would have saved a lot of heartache there.
Yeah, it really would have, eh? Like, yeah. A third base?
I mean, he didn't have the army to defend it back home, so it was just naked.
Yeah, but, like, you can't really invest into a PF for your third as a Terran.
All right.
It's one of those
We
things.
have more than, like, 6 Marines. Goal.
That is true. He really just should have had more units back at home or a bunker or something. He was out on the map. It was the classic thing. Like, the Terran didn't necessarily not have enough stuff. He just was completely out of position.
Right.
And then Bomber panicked, ran in, and then died.
That's all she wrote.
Okay. Overlord coming on in, seeing that expo. Third base on the way for Solar. What do you think of these newer StarCraft 2 maps?
I don't have any complaints about them, to be honest. Really, the last time I was really upset at a map was when it gave Protoss and Terran free naturals that were impossible to harass in any way.
Ah.
So that was a while ago.
Those are good. I miss those.
Those were insanely good. It was basically like Nexus first every game. Anyway, but yeah, generally as a Zerg player, I don't care about wall-offs. I don't care about how wide open my third base is. So like, it's a map, honestly.
Yeah, like balance-wise, I've got no complaints about the maps, but there is one which is like super dark. I can't remember which one.
Oh, okay. I do complain about Dark. Dark in the
Yes.
Sanctuary was bad.
Well, I don't even know if that's actually the map. It's the one that's in the current pool.
Yeah, yeah. No,
And
but I mean, they're...
I just can't see anything. I was like trying to explore the map, and I was like, why? I can't see. Like the tile set's dark. It's just,
I do hate dark maps. I'm with you on
Oh, are you kidding me?
though.
Nope, just lag, not an actual crash. It's got to be a hard drive going. After this series, I'm going to unplug all those other hard drives. Bomber is shutting down that Ling that tried to run in to get a scout, but Solar has an Overlord moving in as well. That's also being intercepted though, which is quite nice for Bomber. There's nothing really out of the ordinary though here. The third CC on the way. Terran getting stim off the one rack is going to be throwing up more. Very normal macro opening akin to the game which Bomber just macroed up and beat Solar.
Yep. I mean, just knowing it's normal out of your opponent is really nice. So, Overlord did not die in vain. Got good information for the Swarm. It's going to be a bit of a Hellion Reaper attack here, as is tradition. Nothing too strange here at all. We'll see if the Lings and Queens can handle it.
Yeah, this could get a drone or two, and it's actually going to get several. This is really nice for Bomber. 4 drones, just like that.
He doesn't push his luck, pulls right back out.
Oh,
never mind. Going back in.
He's pushing his luck, but it's kind of paying off. Gets another couple drones. Wow, 6 drones for essentially nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, it's some HP off of his Hellions. That's it.
Solar gonna be in a world of hurt now. I mean,
yeah, losing that many workers early is not good for you at all, no matter who's playing.
No, I mean, like, it's not like an irrecoverable amount.
No,
but it's very, very notable damage at this stage in the game. Solar suddenly still up ahead though, 10 workers. But that's larva that would have been used for other things. That's minerals that would have been used for other things. And something that I want to say, like, there's cases which Terrans will throw away their 6 Hellions for 6 drones. Bomber still has his Hellions alive.
Yeah, and that means he has map control. Lings aren't going to move out on the map with this. If they had all died during an attack, Lings would be around, checking different areas, expansions, coming in for attacks. But as it stands, they have to stay home. So, I mean, again, production tab, nothing weird here. Baneling Nest on the way. 1-1 coming in. Again, the melee attack. I mean, Solar has a build for today, and he is sticking to it. He's making Lings, Mains, Roaches, Ravagers to some extent, and then going to Ultras for his Tier 3. I really don't see any sign that he's going to switch that up here today. Bomber's 3rd base is landed. Solar's 4th base is coming up here, too, and he's got a lair just about done.
Yeah. I mean, Solar does seem to really be liking his Ultras here. Why do you think that is? Like, some Zergs pros are always like, Ultras are terrible. But Solar seems to be pretty comfortable with them.
I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about it. I just haven't seen Ultras do a lot against this style. Especially with Liberators and Marauders.
Oh, that's nice, getting those tumors.
Yeah, that was really good. Not that they were being canceled anyway. They pretty much got one shot. That was a one-shotter. But yeah, as long as the Terran player knows what to do, Ultras are not really the answer. It's been Broodlords, and it still is Broodlords at this point.
I think
you have to be more careful with your leashing.
I guess the thing is that Infestors are worse now. Before, Zerg would just be like, get Broodlords, then get the Infestors, and you're pretty much good to go for the most part. Now you can get the Broodlords, but maybe not right into the Infestors. As you don't really have that solid comp to fall back on. So maybe Solar's exploring more. I'm also a little bit curious, like, when did Zerg just, like, decide that, like, Ultras were bad? Because obviously, in Legacy of the Void, Ultras, when they first came out, were, like, really, really good. And then they got tweaked a little bit.
They had 8 armor, which was terrifying.
That was something.
And then it went down to 6, and they sucked, and then we settled on 7, which is fine. But really, the big recent change here is just giving Marauders, again, that one big attack rather than 2 smaller ones.
I guess that really is it, eh?
That's it. I mean, Marauders way better. Liberators are still fine, but the fact that Marauders are now really good, in addition to things like Ghosts and Tanks and Liberators, just meant that Ultras just wasn't really worth it, man. If you can catch the Terran player before he gets into those things, fine, they're great. If your opponent sticks on Marines and Tanks forever and ever and ever, and you get Ultras out, you're going to win. But if the transition happens from Terran, then suddenly the Ultras are not as good. So we'll see if that works out. I mean, that's a high from Solar. He's going 2-2 for his Lings, Banelings, and Ultras. There is nothing different about this game, and Bomber, I think, is going to recognize this. He's making his move, which he needs to do right now, because, again, we saw in Game 2, he got that win by taking down a base when the Ultras were just now starting to pop.
Yeah, Bomber being real methodical with his push. Now, he's got tanks, bunkers back at home. He's even got the double wall, which I absolutely love to defend versus this counterattack potential from Solar. Solar, though, might just be using this army to go for a big surround instead of a counterattack. We'll see. He does elect to go for the counterattack. There's tanks, there's Marines and bunkers here, though. Is he going to be able to defend this while simultaneously pushing?
I think Solar's handling it on both ends here. Bomber's in a lot of trouble in all of these locations, as we can see
I don't
here.
know. Look at the supply.
Yeah, I know it's supply, but Terran is getting pushed back. Reinforcing units are here, but off the creep is where they need to be. Lings getting shoved away. Bomber needs to move now before these 38 Lings pop up. Solar trying to buy time and push off creep and keep those tanks away from his hatchery. And I think he managed to do it here. Lings getting cleaned up on the other side. That's going to help immensely. Our tanks firing on that hatch. Wow, from way back here, they're firing on that hatch. Lings, Banelings,
Bomber
flooding
going in for
it. Tanks in a lot of trouble, and by that I mean they are dead. And Bomber's going to try to do this with just bio.
Wow, Bomber keeping this push going. He's a bio machine here. Way more Marines than tanks just rolling on up here. Solar's got to get ready for the next round, which is already here. It's already on his doorstep. He's got Banelings that just finished up morphing. Bomber pulling some of them back, but it looks like he's going to get this hatchery.
And it does end up going down, pushing Bomber on creep, extending. Stutter stepping forward is always a sign of a confident StarCraft player. I don't care what race you are. Hatch down, and this is looking like a carbon copy of game number 2, in which Bomber won. There's one Ultralisk in production. This is not Solar making 5 or 6 Ultralisks at the same time.
No,
this is one Ultra,
wow.
which is much easier to handle.
Bomber is just classic 3 CC. There's no fourth for the Terran. He's all in here, essentially. But he's just going, trying to kill the Zerg. And he's at the Zerg's natural right now. This hatchery under fire. Bomber's got more units rallying to the south as well. He really wants to try and kill Solar here because he's committed. The Zerg player trying to buy as much time as he can. Ultralisk pops out. No chitinous plating for it just yet, though, so it's not going to be completely strong there.
That's it. It's one. It doesn't have chitinous plating. It was handled. This is what I'm talking about. That hatch is going to go down here, too. 164 to 136 supply, and losing hatches and losing income is death right now. For Solar. Bomber tanks on the low ground. One Ultra popping out here. Hatch goes down. Pick up. Get out. Damage done, I think. For the time being, anyway. We'll see if he keeps pushing or if he's content with what he's done so far.
Yeah, Bomber wants to try and get damage done to the south. He's got 3 very stim Marines. Oh no, there's 2 Okay, that was a short-lived story there. That was those Marines attacking. Bomber, though, he's done a lot of damage here, really justifying his position, really justifying his commitment to just 3 command centers, only throwing up a 4th after the fact. And now he's setting his sights on Solar's 4th base here.
The Ultra count is just never getting to where it needs to be. 3 is good, but it's not 5 and it's not 6. Here we go. Banelings rolling in. Liberators attacking. Nice abducts on those Liberators. We haven't really seen that today with the abducts. But the Ultras are done.
GG.
Bomber!
Wow.
Ties up the series with a repeat.
What a legend. What a legend, Bomber.
I mean, I really like what Bomber did, but Solar needs to do something different. He's done the exact same build in all 4 of these games so far, and he's coming into a game 5 against someone who knows what to do against it, and he better not try it again, is all I can say about this.
Yeah, that was
shocked if Solar tried the exact same thing he's done in every game so far.
That was something. We're gonna get on into the next game here in just a second.
Yeah, these players are amped, ready, raring to go. As soon as everyone's in, we hit the start button. Let's do this.
they want to finish this.
Yeah, Bomber wants to finish it. Solar wants to finish it. Let's go. It's going to be on Eternal Empire, the latter edition.
Eternal Empire.
Map that looks like an S.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we are. It's a best of 5. It is tied 2-2.
Amazing.
Spawning in the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's Triumphant Songs Gaming Solar.
And in the top right, you know him and love him as a Bomber.
Yeah, the fact that Bomber is in go toe-to-toe best of 5 with Solar form is real exciting. Real exciting.
And I mean, I said this earlier, but for those people who didn't hear it or were late, like, Solar has often won these Africa Worlds without dropping a map.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, the fact that Bomber has taken 2 games off of him already is really quite incredible. Bomber seems to be in great shape today.
Yeah, if you go on the Wikipedia of Africa World, you'll see Solar's name with first place a lot. he's just a tyrant in these tournaments, and I very well thought he was the favorite coming in today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's got like what, 8, 9 wins here? It's a huge number. The percentage of Africa Worlds he's competed in and that he's won is ridiculous.
I mean, maybe he just needs to change things up a little bit. Maybe he doesn't need to go for the Ultras or something. Maybe he should try out like maybe more Viper, more Roach Ravager, maybe even Hydras, or even into quicker Broodlords or something. I don't know. I don't know what he should do to change it up, but I agree with you. He should.
I mean, the timing for Broodlord is not going to work based on what Bomber's doing here, but if he gets Infestors out with a Roach Ravager Baneling, he can do a lot better. Infestor, Viper, Roach Ravager Baneling is pretty darn good against those pushes. And then you'll have time. Then you'll have time to hop on up to those Broodlords. I like how those are unbuildable plates when it's clearly like...
It's a grate.
It's a grate. It's a sewer grate. They're really skipping on these unbuildable things these days.
Nah, they're like,
My
whatever.
day, it was like a pile of rocks.
They're gonna be destroyed anyway. Doesn't matter.
Chicken in chat rooting hard for Bomber.
Oh, it's hard not to root for Bomber. Might be a little bit of caster bias here. And I think I can fully... I mean, I love Solar a lot. But Bomber, he was one of the guys that when I first got into StarCraft 2, I was watching him. Like, I think it was WCS 2014 Season 2. Which he lost to Pig Baby.
Yeah.
If you guys remember that. And everyone was like, what? Third command center on the way for Bomber.
Yeah, he loves his macro. No 2 base attacks out of him at all. I think Solar should realize that. Maybe he'd be... I mean, I can't say that Solar needs to be more greedy because he's been so greedy this series.
Yeah.
Like, insanely so. So, again, I don't think we've seen any Infestors built at all this series, which is kind of insane. But he's trying to skip them and go right up to Ultra, which, you know, hasn't worked. In a nutshell, the games he's made Ultras, he's lost. So, I hope he doesn't try it again, because, I mean... I'd like to see Bomber win, but I want to see him win in a situation where he doesn't just have to do the same thing again. Let's switch it up here, Solar. Mix it up. Challenge Bomber a little bit. 2 2s. We got 2 2s in chat here.
2 2s
I'm not sure if
indeed.
that's a clarification. Somebody's asking what the series score is. It is on the screen, but
It's
I
there.
understand sometimes people don't know where to look. I suppose. I don't know.
Creep Tumor gets killed off. You think Solar would have canceled that if he could?
I don't know. Again, that's the other thing, is I'm not sure that I've seen a whole ton of people canceling tumors. It didn't happen a lot. To be
Probably
honest,
affects
so-
Serral, mostly.
Yeah, just because Cyril has the amount of attention required to do that. Because he's a robot.
Like, everything with Cyril's a battle. Just like trying to kill one creep tumor.
Trying to get, like, a single drop-in is insanely difficult. Scary, scary guy. And Raynor, too. Raynor's abjectly terrifying as well.
Yeah. I think he's not quite as solid on, like, the defensive.
Right.
I think he gets some of his power from the offensive a bit more.
I agree.
I think, and I think that's what is even the more scary thing is that, like, all Zergs are like, yes, the way Cyril plays is the best, so guys like Raynor, Elazer are getting better at that style.
Yep.
Which is really awesome to see. Players all kind of agreeing on, like, the best way to play the game.
And that's what it is. And the crazy thing is, I mean, honestly, Blizzard designed Zerg this way back in Wings of Liberty. From day one, Zerg in StarCraft 2 has been a defensive race intended to defend, then become overwhelming and win. So the fact that in 2018 we're like, I wonder if we should master this style is kind of mind-blowing to me. Because that's what Blizzard has intended for the race for years now.
Well, I think it comes down to Zerg just having the best late game, which is what really encouraged it. Because you defend, defend, eventually you're going to win because you've got the best late game.
Yeah, you defend well enough, you will win. Exactly.
They couldn't do that in the past because Zerg at one point or another has been weak versus either Terran or Protoss in the late game.
Amazing.
Now it's just... I fundamentally think, like, no matter how good a race is in the early or mid game, the race with the best advantage is the race with the better late game. It makes life a lot easier if you're just like, oh, we made it to the late game.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm good.
But I mean, just the sheer number of Zergs that were like, we're going for Roach Raptor attacks, we're doing Nidus play, we're going for early stuff, and just not succeeding with it for sure, but not succeeding with it to the level of winning BlizzCons, right?
There's a reason why Cyril won, like, every tournament. Yeah. Because he'd just show up and, like, it's not gimmicky.
Right.
It's just the best way to play.
It is honestly so much easier to go for those 2-base all-ins and Nidus attacks, but I mean, nothing worth it and nothing elite is ever that easy, I think is the lesson here. So, more Zerg players are doing it. Raynor, obviously, the biggest example here. Elazer, obviously.
Yeah. Elazer was actually one of the guys that literally just straight up said it. He's like, this is the way to play.
Yep, publicly. He was like, look, man, we were the same player 4 or 5 years ago, and then Cyril decided to go for this. I decided to not. He struggled with it for a long time because it takes a long time to learn. Is really hard to do. But now look at him. He's winning BlizzCons. He's elite, and I'm not. So I know what the difference is. I just need to go do it. It was really good insight into what Elazer's mindset is, and honestly, a pretty good professional way to think about things.
Yeah, really, really impressive. Really goes to show that, like, the way that you think about how you play the game, instead of just, like, mindlessly, like, oh, I'm gonna get better. No, you gotta have a clear plan in mind. Right now we're seeing Cyril, or Solar, pardon me, gosh darn it, we were talking about Cyril. Right now we see Solar going for a Baneling drop while Bomber's trying to push. This attack, I think, is going to be getting shut down. Bomber's probably going to need to evacuate. Baneling's getting dropped in massive SCV casualties.
Oh, I mean, a bunch of those SCVs are really low on HP and not dead.
Oh, Lings, Bomber on the high ground.
Really great positioning for Bomber there. Solar, gotta think twice about that.
It's so scary, though. Bomber just has Marines in this army.
It is.
He's got 65 Marines and 4 tanks.
Look at Solar. Again, Hive. Again, +2/+2. Again.
Oh, Bomber's got a nice drop here. He could get that Carapace. Oh, focus it. No. He was busy microing over there. The Carapace does complete.
Go back in. The Ling's left. Go, 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 go.
Yeah, it's done, though.
I know, but you can stop 3-3. 3-3 Zerg is terrifying. You don't want it.
Well, I think the thing is, when Zerg has 3-3, it's usually accompanied by, like, a bunch of Banelings, Ultralisks.
Yeah.
Really, just a lot of Banelings is a big part of it, I think. Oh, man, these SCVs already softened up. Gonna have themselves a real bad time.
Oh, he just round 2's them.
9, gone. Those Marines that were there to defend that, just watched.
Just... Just observe. Don't mind us. Again, there's our traditional single Viper on the way.
Okay, this time though, I think Solar has a little bit more as he's pushing down. Off creep though is always risky. Is Bomber gonna split? Looks like he does a pretty good job keeping his army alive.
4 queens, that's not good.
That is not good. You don't want to be rebuilding those as Solar. Army supply in the lead for Bomber. Overall supply pretty darn close. Once again, though, it is just pretty much mass Marine. Bomber focusing down Banelings, but doesn't catch them all.
Yeah, that surround was too good.
Yes, and Solar, he's defending. He's made it up to 5 bases, 85 drones. Is this slipping away from Bomber at this point?
It looks like it. I don't know why he switched it up. I mean, we don't have the Marauders we had at this point in the game last game. We're starting them now, but it feels like it's almost too late.
Yeah, this is the risk of committing to the Mass Marine tank. The Zerg gets 1 or 2 good engagements, and suddenly you are in a world of trouble. Now, Bomber does still have his 3-3 coming, which is really going to help him out down the line. He's got the potential for another big push, but he's still in a bit of a rough spot here economically, as Solar just 5 base Zerg, 84 drones. What more can you say? He's held the attacks. He's now focusing on more counterattacks. Banelings dropping once again. It is a bad, bad time to be an SCV at the natural base of Bomber.
Yeah, if you get assigned to work at that base, just go AWOL.
It's the eastern front of Bomber.
It's like, I need you to march to Stalingrad in December. Go. Like, no, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna do that.
You get assigned to the Eastern Front, you're gonna have yourself a bad time. You get assigned to Bomber's Natural, it's a bad time to be an SCV. Bomber's trying to push on in once again, getting a bit of deja vu here though, and this time there's Ultralisks involved. Marines are running away as those Banelings are pursuing. This attack is getting shut down, but the Liberators are actually uncontested.
Look at the Ultras aren't even really bothering to avoid those attacks.
Yeah. Does it really matter, though, in the long run? I'm not too sure. Bomber has dropped down in supply. Army supply is still pretty close, but it's Ultras, Banelings, Masslings, the Planetary being abandoned by Bomber, as a matter of fact. The Bio's coming on in here, going to try and save it, but that's not the case. The fact that the SCVs didn't repair potentially cost that base its life, and now Bomber is in a lot of trouble here on 3 bases versus a Zerg, 81 drones, 5 bases, a 6 on the way. Ultralisk tech. I don't know what to say.
I mean, in fairness, for that command center, there were Banelings, so if SCVs were there to repair,
That's
they
true.
would have died.
But I mean, Bomber almost saved it. It's always the question: do you save this? Do you sack the CC or do you sack the SCVs?
I'm just saying the SCVs would have been dead. Repairing wouldn't have really mattered. I don't think. I don't know. It's hard.
All right, let's see. Bomber once again going in for another attack. This time, though, he is up on supply. He's got the 3-3, and he has more Marauders this time around. He's actually just sniping at that one Ultralisk, which is taking a lot of damage here. This could be the push that Bomber needs. I mean, he's pretty much all in at this point. We'll see if he can make it happen.
I like the Corruptors in the mix here versus the Liberators versus the Medevacs. Really, really good stuff. So... again, the Ultras, though, I'm just not a huge fan of these guys. I like we have Corruptors, too, and I like we can probably get into Broodlords sooner rather than later. As obviously, we have a Hive and we have Corruptors.
Oh, man, once again, Solar goes for it. Bomber out of position here, I feel. He's getting surrounded. Marines are pulling back, trying to avoid the Banes. The Marauders tanking as many as they can, but it looks like there might just be a bit too much Zerg here. Bomber getting pushed back, eating Banelings, and GG Solar, the Afrika World Champion, able to keep his dream alive of collecting yet another tournament.
Yeah, he showed me. He was like, shut up, Falcon. I can do the same thing again and win. Leave me alone. He was right, man. He was right. Again, I think it's more that Bomber just didn't quite get into those Marauders. Didn't quite get into those Liberators as fast as he did in the previous 2 games that he won. So he was doing this with Marines and tanks, which no, you need more than that versus these Ultralisks, which he had previously. I'm not sure why he didn't quite get into that particular composition that did so well for him previously. Probably have to go back and watch the replay to see what happened there, but little bit of a rough loss there at the end of the day. But we're gonna move into Zest versus Dream here as our next series.
Yeah, we're going to actually reboot the stream here once again. I've got an idea of what could be causing the issues.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I have a feeling it could potentially be a hard drive or something that's being a pain, because it's kind of like random stutter lag, like a hard drive randomly spinning up. Anyway, I'm going to try and solve that while these players do their vetoes and everything.